Welcome to New Mexico Desert Classics, and it's 4th of July, so happy 4th of July, in between burger burning and whatnot to celebrate the United States independence. I decided to shoot a quick video. This is going to be a DIY. I haven't done a DIY. Well, I guess we did one on a little bit of polishing a fender on a Alfa Romeo Spider. Today I'm going to show you how to polish an aluminum wheel. This isn't going to be a professional job. This is something that's good enough. I wouldn't recommend it on, a set of $3,500 original MP5 spokes. Don't do that. Pay to get it done professionally. But I'm going to show you how to do good enough. That's why it's called Do It Yourself. So follow along, and I'll walk you through it step by step. It doesn't take any special tools, so just pay attention. Okay, so as I mentioned, you don't need any special tools. All right, so you want to make sure that you have an aluminum wheel. This is a Dan Gurney part of the set that I picked up not too long ago. You can see it's quite corroded. This is Meguiar's Mirror Glaze. It's a dual action cleaner polish. It's a number 6 on a 10 scale. Actually, I guess that would be a 12 scale, so it's a mid-range. I wanted to go with something pretty aggressive for this wheel because it is quite corroded, as I said. You don't want to go too heavy on too much of this because the heavier the grit, right? It's like a course of sandpaper except opposite. So the higher the number, the grittier it is, and you're not going to want to use something in an extra heavy duty cut unless you have just a wheel that's really dorked up. So I got this at Harbor Freight. You can get it just about anywhere. Any polish will do, just make sure to watch for that grit. And then a set of 3 polishing wheels with the center also. It's like $4.97, something like that at Harbor Freight. And then I like this cylindrical polisher because it allows me to get down in these grooves a lot better. You're also going to want some microfiber cloths or something clean so that you can pull the grit off. And then, of course, I prefer a corded drill rather than cordless. I'm really not a battery kind of guy. I do use them for my portable impact guns and whatnot, but just a normal drill. And so that's all it takes, okay? That and a little bit of time, and I'll show you the technique. Okay, so I mentioned grit. The very first thing you're going to want to do before you start polishing on wheels, especially if they're an older aluminum wheel, is you're going to want to take them and wash them. So I'm going to take this outside. It's hot as blazes out there on the 4th of July, but we're filling up the pool, so I'm just going to pull the hose out and scrub them up. I'm not going to use any soap, just water and an agitating brush. Okay, so I ditched the hat because I don't want to get anything on it, although I am proud of my daughter for going to New Mexico State. As with anything electrical, you need some power, and you also want to make sure that you're being safe. All right, so we're gonna remove that bit. All right, so one of the first things that I need to note is that I failed to mention you want to dry the wheel completely as well. You don't want to dilute your polishing compound. So there is already a little bit of compound on here from when I polished the last wheel, so I'm just going to start by just clearing off some of the rougher parts of the wheel. Okay, so as you can see, there's quite a bit of water left in the wheel itself from when I was cleaning it, but I'm just using the centrifugal force of the spinning to get it out of this. You can use air as well. Again, this isn't like we're working on paint, so I'm not that concerned about it. So you're just going to work over the various surfaces, and I'll show you some results in a second. Alright, so I'm going to get this gunk off of here. It's starting to lift some of the nastiness, but it's also obviously carrying some of the nastiness that was in the polishing wheel itself. But you can already start to see that these Dan gurneys are perfect for polishing because they have big open faces that you can just work on. Okay, so now we got the top part knocked off. So I'm going to add a little bit of Meguiar's polish here. Some people like to put it on the wheel. I like to put it on the faces that I'm going to be polishing. And I would note that these Dan gurneys are a very easy wheel to polish because there's lots of open faces, similar with the Fuchs. I apply it pretty liberally to these faces. I think I am going to switch out to the conical, or not conical, cylindrical. I'll show you how that works. For this one, it's good at getting down into crevices, but you can also use it on its side for any of these areas in here. So follow along. Okay, so I'm going to put you on time lapse so you can watch the progress of the whole thing. Okay, any critical piece of DIY is to show how to use the tools. So I want to show you how to take these off, and of course it's going to be a pain. So if I remember correctly, these are back threaded, so instead of lefty loosey righty tighty, it is righty loosey lefty tighty. Okay, so I'm going to take this one off because it is still wet. I should have done that earlier. We're going to put on a smaller wheel. I'm going to go with the mid-size. Alright, so what you've got is a bolt with threads, a washer that goes with the wheel, a washer, and then a nut, but you have to remember that it is backwards threaded. So, going lefty-tighty, and almost stabbing myself in the wrist, and I could have seen some good arterial spray. Alright, so I'm going to lock this in here. Eye protection. going to put you back on time lapse. Okay, so basically, as long as you want to do this, you're just going to keep polishing and polishing and polishing. It's going to come out better and better. Just like with any other polish, the finer you start working on the grit of the polish, the shinier you're going to get. For these specific wheels, there's enough wheel damage that I'm not gonna keep working on them too much. But I just want you to know that this is something you can do on your own and get pretty good results. I mean, you'll see here in a second, they're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, right? And one of the other things I realized once I got going is that I forgot to pull the valve stem, which, just like anything that you've got something in the way, cleaning around it is difficult, and you end up with a nice little ugly spot that doesn't get as clean as everything else. But I think we're just about there. I'm just going to hit some of these faces a little bit better. For that, I'm going to put on a new clean wheel and not use any compound. I'm going to go with the small wheel. You'll find as you do this on your own that you'll find what works for you and what doesn't. Personally, I like to basically use a set of these. Since they are so cheap, I use a set of them for just about every wheel set. Gets its own new ones. You can throw them in the wash machine. Luckily, my wife doesn't watch my channel, so I can say that because she would absolutely annihilate me for doing that. All right, we're just gonna hit just the faces of the spokes. All right, so we've got a good basic polish on these. I will probably come back and do a little bit of hand polishing on the spokes, but I'll tell you what, that is a marked difference. With these ones, I'm actually going to go in and clean up the backs a bit. Not going to do it on this video though, because that's, you've heard me talk enough and you've heard enough. All right, so what's the takeaway from this video? DIY, do it yourself. Okay, is this perfect? No. Is it absolutely street quality? Yes. So no offense to the professional wheel polishers out there, but I'm not about to spend $400 to have them polish a set of wheels. It's only worth $400 in the first place. So thanks again for watching New Mexico Desert Classics. Give us a like. We love comments. I don't get too many comments. Even if they're bad comments, hit me up with a comment. And then subscribe and turn on that notify button so you get that frustrating ding every time I post something. Thanks again. Have a happy 4th of July.